I want to give you the 2 top softwares that you absolutely have to use in your short-term rental business, no matter what, when you're first getting started. Hey, welcome into the Fearless Investor Podcast. You're listening to me, Kyle Stanley, and I want to wrap a little bit for this idea of what do we really need when we're getting started in short-term rentals from a software perspective. It can be incredibly overwhelming, especially if you're in our 6-figure formula community. We have 13 different discounts to partners like Noise Aware, which is helping you to keep an eye on how much noise is going on in your units, to places like HostAway, which is going to merge calendars and merge inboxes, and especially if you're on Airbnb and VRBO and you're on all these different platforms, keeping it simple and on one. But when it comes down to it, do you really need all of this when you're just starting your first Airbnb listing? And that's where most of us are going to start. Some of you might start on VRBO, but most of us are going to start on Airbnb. In the beginning of your journey, being on Airbnb is the number one place to be. And it already provides a lot of tools for you to be able to manage your team and to send automated messages and do a lot of the things that some of these other softwares do. But what it does not do is show you, will your property make money? And if it will, what should you price it at? And so for that reason, those are the 2 softwares that you absolutely have to have in the beginning. Let's start with AirDNA. AirDNA is like the MLS of Airbnb. If you have a property at 123 Main Street and you're thinking to yourself, how much could this actually make? Well, that's easy. You're going to take that address, you're going to plug it into the AirDNA rentalizer, and it's going to spit out a number of what it thinks that you can make. I wouldn't necessarily use the rentalizer because it's really not that accurate. It's very bare bones, but you can start to look at neighborhood data down the street. If I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it's got a pool, what other 3-bedroom, 2-baths in that area are getting the rates that I'm looking for, or are they getting the rates I'm looking for? Right now we can start to see, and you know, I took my knowledge of how to flip houses. I started in flipping houses, guys, and when I started in flipping houses, it was really difficult to try to figure out, okay, if I buy this house for $200 or $200,000, what's it going to be worth after I put $50,000 of work into it? Does it make sense to do that? That took me a lot of time to figure out how to be able to analyze that. But then when I figured out that process, I just took it, the same knowledge that I had in comping houses for flips, I took it and moved it over to the Airbnb space. And so I was able to say, okay, I've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's 1,500 square feet. It's got a pool. It's nicely updated. It's in this neighborhood. Let me go look at other ones in that area. What are they making? And on AirDNA, it'll show you not only what it made in the last 365 days, but what it potentially could have made if it was listed for the entire 365 days. Because at the end of the day, a lot of these houses on AirDNA are actually not on AirDNA on Airbnb for the full 365 days. Some people are blocking it out for repairs, or blocking it out because they got a long-term renter, or maybe they're living in the house themselves. There's a lot of different factors that make you wonder, like, oh, well, what if it was up for 365 days? AirDNA will actually estimate that for you. But once again, there's good data on AirDNA, and then there's bad data on AirDNA. And we actually have a really great tool that will help you to understand how to be able to use AirDNA to its best ability, so that if you are looking to buy that $200,000 house or $2 million house, is that a good investment? So we're going to show you how to do that in our Market Eval Kit. It's at fearlesskyle.com/Market Eval Kit. In literally an hour, you're going to be an expert on how to analyze deals with AirDNA, plug them into the calculator that you get with this Market Eval Kit, and see, am I going to make what I need to make this make sense as an investment? Or should I pass on this one and go buy another one? Or should I just, maybe I already own the property and just put it up as a long-term rental instead of a short-term rental? Now, I'm a data geek, so I really can look at something and say, okay, how can I find the data that relates to me? But not everyone's like that, right? Some of you are going to look at it and be like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What data makes sense for me? I'm not a data person. I'm not a numbers person. This is just all overwhelming. And that's okay, because we've created a resource that will help you to be able to determine exactly what data to use to determine if you are going to get a deal or if you've got a dud. The next software that I really recommend is PriceLabs. So PriceLabs is a dynamic pricing tool. Think about it this way: when you go to book a flight and you see one day the flight is priced at $291 and then the next day it's $302, and you're like, well, random, why did it go up $10 or $11? That doesn't make sense. Well, that's dynamic pricing. It's just supply and demand. If that is in high demand, the price is going to go up. If it's not in high demand, the price is going to go down. That's exactly what PriceLabs is going to do for your short-term rental business. It's going to take the demand factors in your market, not across the US, not across the world. It's going to go within your market, within your neighborhood, and it's going to say, hey, someone wants to book December 19th. Guess what? That's already 70% booked. It's in high demand. We're going to jack up your rate. Or, hey, that December 19th date is actually only 10% booked in your market, not really in high demand, so we're going to drop your rate. What does that do? That means more revenue for you, more occupancy, and typically it's going to help you to not have to spend so much time on all of the getting in the minutia of, should I price it at this price? Should I price it at this price? Well, I forgot about that, carnival coming up that attracts everyone from out of town. Oh, the leaves are changing colors and everyone loves coming to our town to see the leaves change colors, right? Those are the things that you don't think about. And when I wasn't using PriceLabs, I thought I had it all figured out. I was like, I don't need any dynamic pricing tool. I just need my own brain, because my brain knows what that price should be. Wow. When I started using PriceLabs, I saw about a 15 to 20% uptick in revenue on each one of my listings, which made me realize, wow, for the last 2 years, I've just been getting my own way. My ego has made me think that I know how to price everything, when in reality, that was not the case. So I left thousands on each listing on the table, and we're at 50 listings as a company. Just do the math there. That's not fun. It's not fun to know how much that I left on the table from not getting a tool like PriceLabs. So it's a formula. That's what's great. We're talking about two different softwares here. One, AirDNA is very hands-on, and you have to kind of determine what's the data and how does that relate to me. Where PriceLabs is, here's the data, and we're just showing you the data so that you can kind of see, but we're going to price it out for you. We're going to do everything for you. And yes, there's a little bit of some hands-on that you still have to do with PriceLabs. The biggest misconception out there is, oh yeah, with PriceLabs, you can set it and forget it. That's not the case. You actually still have to put a little bit of time into it. You have to double check. You have to, trust but verify and fact check on PriceLabs. But when you do this, if you have the right plan for that, then you're going to notice that you're spending a lot less time on pricing. You're going to get a lot more revenue, and it's going to be one of those things for you that when you're really excited about seeing how automated your pricing can be, you're going to want to go hit more properties, right? If I've automated a part of my business, I now know that it's easier for me to just plug that into my system and continue to grow my business. And you guessed it, we've got a tool for you for PriceLabs as well, but the good news is this one is absolutely free. It's my 5 steps to getting your Airbnb listing set up on PriceLabs. Go download it at fearlesskyle.com/PriceLabs. We also have a great relationship with the CEO, Richie Kondawal of PriceLabs, and on that same page, you can see all of the past conversations we've had on our YouTube and podcast channel, and so you can go check that out. Once again, same link, fearlesskyle.com/PriceLabs. If you're ready to get started with either of these, I'm going to go ahead and put a link down below in the description. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching or listening, I should say, on the podcast, they're going to be in the show notes. But you absolutely need to use these two softwares when you're getting started out. Why put a major investment and a major financial decision on a gut feeling, right? That's not how we are investors. That's not fearless investing. Fearless investing is knowing the numbers, knowing the data, so that we can reduce our risk in order to make confident decisions. When we make feeling decisions, gut feelings, I hate that. Follow your gut. Following your gut can work, but it can also be really destructive, because my gut might tell me, oh, hey, I'm going to go over to Santa Cruz and buy a house over in Santa Cruz, because that is a great way to get started in short-term rentals, because everyone wants to go on vacation in Santa Cruz. You buy the house and then you look up online and see that, guess what? everything in Santa Cruz is banned. You can't even list your house on Airbnb in Santa Cruz, right? And I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just saying those are the mistakes that you can make if you go based on gut feelings. Or, hey, I think I'm going to get $1,000 per night because this one time my family and I went on Christmas to this place over at the beach or over in the mountains, and we had to pay $1,000 a night. Oh, by the way, there was 16 of us. Oh, by the way, it was literally on Christmas Day. All these factors have led to this gut feeling when in reality, that was the only day of the year that it was ever booked at $1,000 and the rest of the days are booked at $200, right? So these gut feelings can get you into major, major trouble. Use your brain. Use the resources at your fingertips. Get started with AirDNA. If you need that extra help with our market eval kit, go check it out for just the $27. Get started with PriceLabs. Get the step-by-step that we have with our free download, and you will not be sorry with the results that you get. Now, if you love PriceLabs or love AirDNA, drop a comment down below. If you're kind of like, I just don't know if I should get started, still drop a comment. Ask your questions. We would love to hear from you. That's going to do it right now for the Fearless Investor Podcast, where we're helping you to conquer the world of short-term rentals. I hope you found this valuable today.